Hey everybody, welcome to Simply Nell's Tiny Studio. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here in the Tiny Studio today. Before we get started, please make sure that you like this video. Thank you. Hit that thumbs up. And also, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Do not forget that if you have a comment or an opinion that you would like to share with me in the Tiny Studio, drop down in the comment section and please do so. So today's video is going to be kind of controversial, and I would really like your opinion about it. But while I'm nervous to talk about it, I still feel it's a conversation that you and I should have. Why do Black women hate their hair so much? Why do we as Black women hate our hair? Let's just sit back and think about it for a moment. I'm going to ask the question again. Why do Black women, why do we hate our hair so much? Now you may say to yourself, Nell, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Why do Black women hate their hair? Why do we hate our hair so much? Who said that we hate our hair? Why would you make such an implication? Why would you make such a statement about our hair? I say that because in my social media travels, Facebook land, Instagram land, TikTok land, YouTube land, X land, I see Black women everywhere. However, I see and I also listen and I read a lot of things or comments and opinions that Black women have on their hair. And some of the most disturbing things I hear about or that I feel translates to I hate my hair as a Black woman is in the lock community. And in the dreadlock community, or if you call them locks, that's great. I interchange those things. I go from dreadlocks to locks or from locks to dreadlocks. But in this community, I find that a lot of Black women who wear dreads hate their hair. Why do I say that? Because now that dreadlocks have become on trend, okay? And I have an issue with that as well. But now the dreadlocks have become a trend type of thing. What we're doing and what I'm finding that a segment of the dreadlock community are doing is that we are putting weaves on top of our locks. Now, it's one thing that if you have a lock that is thinning and you decide to take that lock and you decide to take some hair and weave it around it and try to fill in that space, that's one thing. And even in that instance, I highly discourage that practice. I have another video on this channel. Check into the archives of Dreadlock Love Baby and you will find videos where I really discourage against trying to save a lock, a thinning lock, by wrapping hair, whether it be synthetic hair or real human hair, around the thinning area of a lock. But not only is that a thing, however, for some people who are starting out on their lock journey, they have decided that they're going to add a weave to the lock to make the lock longer. And then as the lock begins to mature and lengthen, then they begin to try to extract the weave or the hair, the synthetic hair or human hair that is not theirs, from the lock, which is another trend that's dangerous. Okay, it's dangerous to your lock. And the reason why women are doing this is because they want to jump ahead of the lock journey. They want to get to all of this, which is 21 years. Has it been 21 years or is it almost 22? I think I'm on year 22. 22 years of a lock journey. They want to jump to this as opposed to going through the journey in itself. And that the one of the reasons why is because when locks are beginning and going through their different phases and stages, there is this moniker called the ugly stage, and nobody wants to go through the so-called ugly stage, which is really not ugly. It's just growth. It's just part of the journey. So since no one wants to go through that because of that stigma of, oh, it's short, it's ugly, it's not looking right, I don't like it, then, people decide that they're going to add a weave to it to give themselves some length. And that becomes problematic, right? And then I see women who are wearing locks or dreads, who decide that they're going to French braid their locks and then slap on a full weave on top of them, either by having it sewn in, or doing the cap thing with the glue, or just wearing a wig, period. And the general consensus, the comments that you see from women who do those things or employ those type of methods and hairstyling methods on top of their dress, you'll hear things like, oh, well, I just want a little diversity. I just like to switch things up. And it works for me. Nothing has happened to my locks. My locks are nice and healthy. And every time I comment and I say, that's not the point. The idea is when you begin your lock journey, this is a full lock journey. This is a life decision to wear dreads. This is not a fad. This is not a trend. This is not something that you're supposed to be slapping on a weave or a wig and saying, I want diversity. Because if you want that, why wear locks? Locks are a whole experience unto themselves. Why would you do that? And then that's what brings me to the point of where I say that we as Black women, we have a problematic relationship with our hair. Many Black women hate their hair, and it shows. Even those outside of the dreadlock community, you can see and tell that Black women hate their hair. And I really believe that it stems from the fact that mothers are not teaching their children, their daughters, how to take care of their hair, how to style their hair, how to love on their hair, regardless of its texture. Regardless of how kinky, straight, wavy, nappy, whatever, regardless of all of that, we're not really showing the love to our daughters and showing our daughters how to love their hair, how to care and maintain it, how to love it, because it is the essence of them. And when I see women today cover up their hair continuously on a daily basis, wearing weaves and wigs, it makes me feel as if it makes me feel as if Black women hate their hair. And when you listen to Black women on social media talk about their hair textures, their hair types, you see women say, I don't know how to deal with this hair. I don't know how to comb it. I don't know how to style it. So it takes too much time out of my day, out of my morning to deal with my hair, to comb it, style it, all of that stuff. When I hear things like that, it makes me sad, because your hair is made up of the DNA that is you. So when you sit back and you hate on something that's inherently you, you're hating on yourself. why have dreads and then slap a wig or a weave on top? That's like an oxymoron type of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's an oxymoron type of thing. Why would you do that? It makes absolutely no sense. Then to say, well, I'm doing it because I want to be diverse. I want to switch it up sometimes. Listen, you can switch things up with locks. What are you talking about? You don't just have to you just don't have to wear your locks straight. You can do many things with your locks. You can style your locks. You can do many, many things with wearing locks. You can. But why would you put a weave on top of it? Why would you put a wig on top of it? Why are Black women so hung up on wearing weaves and these wigs? Why? Is it because that we have this thing about, whiteness? Being aligned with whiteness? Because that's what it sounds like to me when I was coming up. Yes, women wore wigs, they wore falls, they wore things like that, yes. But you also had the majority of the Black women population who wore their own hair, who wore wigs on special occasions, who wore falls on special occasions. But the majority of the time, they wore their natural hair. Whether it be in an afro, whether it's in a ponytail, whether it was in a bob, a mushroom, an asymmetrical cut, all of those things. Black women, a pressing curl, Black women wore it all. It was a time where our hair, we loved our hair. We celebrated our hair. We stayed in the beauty salon getting our hair done. If we had issues with our hair and we didn't know how to take care of it, we knew somebody in the neighborhood whose house we could go over and sit in their kitchen and they would do our hair. We knew somebody in the community who had a salon that we could go to, and they would give us a hairstyle. They would wash our hair and press it out and style it, and they would do so for a discount. I knew salons who did that. There was always someone in the Black community who knew something about hair and who could turn your hair from a mess to a miracle. I've seen it. But today, it's so many young, and I'm talking about young Black women who are coming up and who are just wearing weaves, who don't know how to comb their hair, who have a really strong love-hate relationship with their hair because all they see is the wigs and the weaves that give you super length and it's super straight, or so-called easier to handle and manage. Who told you to hate yourself like that? Who told you to hate yourself? Who told you that your Black is not beautiful? When I see things like people putting weaves and wigs on top of their locks, it really bothers my spirit. It really get under my skin, because I'm saying to myself, you started out on a good path and now you're back to where you were before you grew a head of locks. You're allowing society to dictate to you what is beautiful and what is not beautiful. That's what you're doing. Stop hating on yourself. Start loving yourself. Start loving your locks. Stop putting weaves and wigs and caps on top of your locks. Let your locks do what they do. Be natural and beautiful. Stop doing that. Stop hating yourself. Start loving your hair. Start loving these things that comes out of our scalp. Love all of it. Love all of the naps, all of the kinks, all of the curls, all of the waves, all of the hair patterns and textures. If it belongs to you, it's yours. You grow it intricately. Love on it. If you're having issues, you don't know how to style your hair, there are plenty of videos on YouTube for Black women that will teach you how to style your hair, that will teach you what your hair pattern and texture is, that will show you how to style it. Learn to love your hair because it is you. It's your DNA. Your DNA is all over these antennas. It's you. When you continue to put a weave or slap a wig on top of your antennas, on top of your hair, what you are doing is you're putting a barrier between yourself, your spirituality, and your connection with the universe or with God. That's what you're doing. I hate to be the person to say that, but it's true. It's true, because every inch of you is God given. So when you pretend, or when, I'm going to say pretend, when your actions show that you hate yourself, then how can you be blessed by the universe? How can God bless you and embrace you if you won't let God bless you, and if you won't embrace who you are and accept it and love it? Love you. And for those of you who are putting weaves on your locks because your locks is here, you feel like you're in the so-called ugly stage, and you like, I want to get to here even though I'm right here. Don't do that, because what you're doing is you're damaging your locks. So by the time your locks get to right here, they're going to be thin and unhealthy, and they will start popping and breaking off. Don't do that. So women, sisters, stop hating on your hair. Who told you that your hair wasn't beautiful? Who told you that? If they told someone you told you, implied that, or told you to your face that your hair is not beautiful, let me tell you, Black woman, that your hair is intrinsically beautiful, and it is indubitably you. Love on yourself and stop making these Asian beauty salons millionaires off of your hate. Stop doing that. Please. If you're on this lock journey, be on the lock journey. You can't have it both ways. Be on the lock journey. And if you're having issues with your locks, get the support that you need. You can come to this channel. There are so many channels. You can go to Yanni the Lockologist, Damian Walters. There are so many lockologists on YouTube who are experienced, who can show you, help you, give you the support that you need if you are having difficulty on your lock journey. And that's another thing. It's a journey. Wearing locks is a journey to self-fulfillment, self-awareness, self-love. That's what wearing locks is all about. It's not a trend. It's not a fad. It's not a style. A style that you can wear one day and decide tomorrow you're gonna slap a wig on top of it. No. No. That's not how any of this works. All right, I'm your girl, Nell. And so I will talk to you next time here in the Tiny Studio. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like, share, and if you want to, you can also subscribe. Please think about becoming a sustainable member of the channel as well. I love you, Tiny Studio guests, and I'll see you next time here in the Tiny Studio. Bye-bye.